is Moses? Moses is by every means the greatest leader who has ever lived. Of course, apart from Jesus Christ. But at a human capacity, Moses is an amazingly great leader. He is a great leader because he is one whom God says he speaks to face. Not so many people have had that privilege of being able to have a conversation with God face to face. Now, in Deuteronomy, Moses is about to release a generation to enter into the promised land. He is the one who's been leading these people from Egypt, and we know the grand things that God did in the hands and under the leadership of Moses. But Moses himself will not enter into Canaan land. Why? Because he and Aaron, they disbelieved the Lord. They mistrusted the Lord. And God was very upset and determined, you brought the children of Israel out of Egypt, but you will not enter the promised land because you mistrusted me. And so Moses is going to speak to a new generation, because the old generation of everyone who left Egypt died in the wilderness, again because of their unbelief, because of their disobedience against the Lord. And that to us is an indictment, and it is a lesson and a caution for us that we must not participate in any conversation that is in stark disobedience to the laws of God. Why? Because when we do that, even if you're in a position of leadership like Moses, you will be denied the blessings. So Moses is going to speak to this new generation that is supposed to enter into Canaan, and he will tell them, I am calling the heavens and the earth as witnesses. Why? Because I have placed before you life and death, blessings and curses. It's incumbent upon you, it's incumbent upon me to choose which of these two we want to participate in. Jesus will come later in Matthew 7 and he will say there are two ways, the way of life and the way of death. There is the narrow way and there is the wide way. And every day, brothers and sisters, you and I have to make choices in keeping with either of the two ways. Either the way of blessing or the way of curses. Either the way of life or the way of death. And that is where we must begin by asking ourselves, is the LGBTQ plus conversation in keeping with the way of life, or is it in keeping with the way of death? What is the destination of these two discourses? Therefore, meaning that we must choose on which side we are on. You cannot be on the middle, in the middle for that matter. You cannot be neither black nor white, you're in the gray. No. You cannot be, oh, I'm not for them and I'm not against them. No. You have to take a position, either for God or against God's position. And so in this, we stand, that we, in our choosing to contend for the faith, we are choosing to take God's perspective on this matter. God has our position, and this is the position that we want to engage in and clearly take a stand. So as we begin this conversation, it is very important to underscore that we are doing this to protect the family. So we must have an understanding, what does the family entail? What is the idea of family?